Most of us are told that building incredible wealth is all about luck, or who you know, or just working yourself to the bone. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real difference isn't in your wallet, but in the actual wiring of your brain? Neuroscience is showing us that it's not what you have, it's how you're programmed to think. So today, we're going to decode the blueprint inside the billionaire brain.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. The top performers aren't just playing the same game better, they're running a completely different operating system. They use these specific mental systems, these frameworks, to see the world, manage risk, and spot opportunities that honestly, the rest of us just miss.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we'll break down that core difference in thinking. Then we're going to dive into the science behind it, the why of it all. After that, we'll unpack the actual mental toolkit they use, show you how your brain can literally be rewired, and finally, lay out the steps for your own mental upgrade.
Okay, so this is absolutely crucial to get. If you ever feel stuck, it's probably not about how hard you're working, it's about the mental architecture, the brain OS, that you're running. For a lot of people, the real bottleneck is an incomplete or, frankly, an outdated operating system.
And this right here, this is the fundamental split. The average brain, by default, is wired to seek comfort. Stability, a steady paycheck, avoiding risk at all costs. But the billionaire brain, it's constantly scanning for one thing: leverage. It's always asking, how can I multiply my effort, my capital, my impact? One is about maintenance, the other is all about multiplication.
And look, this isn't just some motivational fluff or a difference in philosophy. It's actually rooted in hard science. And that brings us to this really fascinating field called neurofinance, which is all about exploring the literal hardware of our financial minds.
Think of neurofinance as this amazing meeting point where brain science, psychology, and finance all collide. It's the study of what's really going on inside your head when you make a decision about money, risk, or a new opportunity. It's like we're finally decoding the source code of our own financial behavior.
This table really shows you the evolution of our thinking, right? First, traditional finance just assumed we're all perfectly rational robots. Then, behavioral finance came along and said, no, we have biases. But neurofinance, it goes so much deeper. It asks, what's biologically happening in the brain to cause those biases? It gets to the root why behind the choices we make with our money.
And the wild part is, we can literally see this happening in real time. With tools like fMRI scans, scientists can watch which parts of the brain light up like a Christmas tree when we're making a financial decision. This isn't guesswork anymore. We can actually map the brain's live response to risk and reward.
So think of it like a constant battle inside your head between three key players. You've got your amygdala, your ancient fear center, screaming, "Sell everything," when the market dips. Then there's your prefrontal cortex, the CEO, trying to be the calm adult in the room with logic and long-term plans. And to top it off, you get a rush of dopamine after a good trade, making you feel invincible, and maybe just a little bit reckless. Just understanding this internal tug-of-war is the first step to getting it under control.
Okay, so if our brain is a hardware, what about the software? What programs are the best of the best running? Well, that's where mental models come in. You can think of them as battle-tested apps for making better decisions. And I really want you to get this, because it's a game changer. It is not about having a higher IQ or just grinding harder, it's about having a better system. The top 1% aren't just relying on raw intelligence or gut feelings. They're installing these frameworks that systematically filter out emotional noise and lead to much clearer, more consistent results.
So what's in this toolkit? Well, here's the whole shebang. This is the core stack of models that elite performers use to navigate a complex world. It's like a Swiss Army knife for your brain. You've got tools to break down problems, like first principles. You've got tools to see around corners, like second-order thinking. And you've even got tools for avoiding total disaster, like inversion. Each one gives you a really unique edge.
Let's just zoom in on one of these to see how powerful it is. It's called inversion, and it was a favorite of the legendary investor Charlie Munger. It's simple, but brilliant. Instead of asking, "How do I succeed?" you flip it on its head and ask, "What could absolutely guarantee that I fail?" Then you just systematically build a plan to avoid all of those things. It's genius for managing risk before it even happens.
Okay, so how do you actually use this? It's a simple, three-step process you can start today. First, be crystal clear about your goal. Second, brainstorm every single thing that could possibly go wrong and cause you to fail. And third, this is the magic part, you design your entire strategy around avoiding those failure points. It's all about winning by simply not losing.
Okay, I get it. This all sounds amazing.
But it brings up a huge question, right? Are we just stuck with the brain we have? Can we actually install this new software? Or are we stuck with the factory settings?
And the answer from neuroscience is an absolute game-changing no. We are not stuck. Our brains are not fixed pieces of hardware. They are constantly adapting, changing, and rewriting themselves based on our experiences and what we choose to focus on.
And that's our way in. That incredible ability to change is the biological pathway to giving ourselves an upgrade. It's how we can go from running on our default settings to actually writing our own code.
The scientific name for this superpower is neuroplasticity. And what it means is that through focused, intentional practice, you can literally build new highways, new neural pathways in your brain. Those mental models we just talked about, they aren't just abstract ideas. With practice, they can become a physical part of your brain structure.
So you're probably asking, great, how do I actually do it? Well, the research gives us a really clear 5-step blueprint. It all starts with the foundational belief that you can change. That's the growth mindset. Then you actively train your brain, you practice mindfulness to keep your focus sharp, you become a relentless learner, and you take care of your body. Because at the end of the day, a healthy brain is an adaptable brain. So when you put all of this together, you move from just knowing this stuff to actually transforming the way your mind operates. This is your roadmap to a full mental upgrade. All right, let's wrap this up and boil it down to the essentials. First, wealth isn't some big secret, it's a system. Second, the real goal is to leverage your thinking, not just trade more of your time. Third, the science is clear. Your brain is adaptable, and you absolutely can rewire it for success. And finally, using these mental models is the key to taking emotion out of the equation and making decisions with total clarity.
Look, this was never about just giving you information. It's about transformation. The science is here, the roadmap is clear, and the tools are waiting for you. So the only real question left is, which one of these mental models are you going to install first?